Batch invoices are a quick way of entering sales invoice transactions into your accounts. There are limitations such as batch invoices can't be printed or emailed from the software, and also they don't link to your products and services list, and this means that they don't adjust stock levels. However, if you don't require these options, for example if you generate your invoices using other software, then batch invoices is a quick and simple way of recording an invoice value against a customer record. This means you can keep track of your customers, how much they buy from you, how much they owe, and also how long invoices have been outstanding for. To enter a batch invoice, open Customers. From the toolbar, click Batch Invoice, and then complete the details as follows. Enter the account reference for the customer that you want to post the invoice against. If you don't know the reference off the top of your head, you can use the drop-down list. The date defaults to your current program date and can be changed if needed. You can then enter a reference and an extra reference, and each of these can be up to 30 characters. Typically, you would enter the invoice number in the reference column. You then need to enter the nominal code for the invoice. If the invoice is for a number of items, you can either enter it as a single line or break it down, entering a line for each item. You would do this if you needed to post items to separate nominal codes, or if they have different VAT classifications, for example 0 rated and standard rated. So choose the nominal code that you want to post the invoice line against. Similarly to the account reference, if you're not sure of the nominal codes, you can choose one from the drop-down list. Typically, your default sales nominal code will be in the 4000 range, and as you can see, the nominal code does default to 4000, and that's picked up from the customer record. If required, you can analyze invoices by allocating them to a department. If you use the charities option, a fund, and also a project. You should note that these three options depend on the level of software that you're using and the options that you've enabled in the software. For example, you don't have departments in Sage Instant Accounts, and similarly the fund column is only available if you've enabled the charities option in the software. The details box is used to record any additional information about the transaction, and you can enter up to 60 characters. You then need to enter the net amount and also specify the correct tax code for the invoice line. If we just enter £100 in the net column and we leave the tax code set to T1, obviously you can change that if need be, and if you're not sure of the tax codes, again you can select them from the drop-down list. We'll just leave it set to T1, and you'll see that the VAT calculates automatically based on the net value and the tax code and the rate associated with that. Now at this stage you can either tab down to the next line and continue to enter additional invoice lines, or you can click Save. If you continue to enter additional invoice lines before saving, as long as the transactions are posted to the same customer or consecutive on the list and have the same date and reference, when you save them they'll be grouped together. Each batch invoice line will post as a separate transaction. However, if you've entered them so that they do group, in some screens and reports you'll see the invoice items grouped and others will show them separately. Once you've entered the transactions, click Save in the bottom left hand corner, and that's the invoice entered.